Hello and welcome to This American Land. I'm Bruce Burkhardt.
And I'm Caroline Ravel. Our first story today takes us to central Idaho. It's an area filled with visitors who are passionate about outdoor recreation. Everything from fishing and hiking to mountain and dirt biking.
In the Boulder-White Clouds Mountains, there's been a lot of give and take about balancing wildlife protection and maintaining access for these dedicated outdoor lovers.
So I'm not going to pretend that every disabled user is going to be able to propel themselves in here as I'm doing right now, but they sure might enjoy coming in with a hand from their kid or significant other.
Even though he lost the use of his legs in a skiing accident, Eric Schultz is one of Idaho's leading advocates for wilderness.
Behind me is 500,000 acres of contiguous roadless land. The biggest unprotected roadless area left in the lower 48 states.
The Central Idaho Economic Development and Recreation Act, now making its way through Congress, would designate 330,000 acres in the Boulder-White Clouds Mountains as wilderness, meaning existing trails would be closed to mechanized vehicles, including mountain bikes. The challenge here in central Idaho was finding a balance between habitat protection and access in an area known for its intense recreation. Just spend some time in Ketchum. It seems that everyone is either on or about to jump on a bike. Ketchum's bustling economy depends on easy access to surrounding federal lands. Pioneer Mountains and Smoky Mountains roadless areas are also adjacent to Ketchum. That's over 500,000 acres total.
We're sort of the toy store, we're the toy store for adults. And
Bob Rosso and his wife Kate own the Elephant's Perch, a thriving outdoor store here.
And I've said this many times before, we are like in the center of a hub of a wagon wheel. And you imagine those spokes spinning around us 360 degrees. 1 or 2 steps out of this town and you're on a national forest. A few more steps and you're in the Sawtooth Wilderness. And maybe in a few years, in a few more steps, you'll be in the White Cloud Wilderness.
Mountain bikers and motorized riders have been using the trails in the Boulder-White Cloud area for decades. The different user groups managed to collaborate on a bill that restricts some of their access in favor of wilderness protection.
Coming to decisions that everyone nods their head and kind of says, I think we can live with this. I think we're going to protect the land. We're still going to be able to recreate.
Idaho Conservation League. This is Brett.
A few blocks from the Elephant's Perch, Brett Stevenson works on land use programs in central Idaho. She was only 12 years old when talks on the Boulder-White Cloud Wilderness started.
The bill now is designed with 3 different components of a wilderness area, and so there's some trails that go through the middle that will be open to mountain bikes and dirt bikes.
The unique aspect of this wilderness bill is the network of arteries that will give bikers limited access to the high-altitude backcountry.
I spent my childhood coming up to the mountains to play, and I think spending time up here really helped create who I am and what my values are, and I want to see that maintained and as a good opportunity for next generation.
Brett wants the wilderness to be there for her niece and nephew, twins Lucy and Briggs. Like Brett, their mom, Megan Stevenson, spent her childhood in the mountains.
I just hope to never take for granted what we do have right in our backyard, and of course just want to preserve it so that my kids can have a similar childhood experience that I had.
You see any big mountains, bud?
Where are they?
Over there.
There are 3 great trails still open, both to motorized and bicycles. And again, yeah, it definitely will be a loss. There are some trails, some really grand trails that will be closed, but for the greater good and the long-term benefit, to me, it's worth having the wilderness.
Beyond the proposed wilderness boundaries, mountain and motorized trail bike riders will have a wide variety of places to ride. Popular trails like Fisher Creek, Germania Creek, and Big Boulder and Little Boulder Creek will remain open. But past the ridgeline wilderness border, only foot and horse travel will be allowed, protecting areas like Ants Basin and the White Cloud Peaks. On the east side of the Boulder-White Clouds, important wildlife and fish habitat will be protected. The area includes some key tributaries for the Salmon River, important streams for Chinook salmon spawning.
The East Fork of the Salmon River comes up on the east side of the White Cloud Peaks, and all of these tributaries drain into the East Fork of the Salmon.
It's so far away from the Pacific, and these fish swim 6,000, 7,000 feet up in elevation to get to their spawning habitat in this incredibly remote part of Idaho.
While the wheels turn on the approval process for this wilderness, one aspect of the bill has already been completed. Wheelchairs will always be allowed in the wilderness. 2 wilderness trails here have been improved to accommodate wheelchairs. The trails are still rugged, but large obstacles have been removed, and small bridges have been built across creeks. Disabled residents, visitors, and veterans are getting their first taste of a wilderness experience.
For me, as a disabled recreationist, being able to stick a toe in a wild area like this is incredibly empowering and crosses over to other aspects of my life, to have the confidence to take on a slightly challenging trail and enjoy the wilderness, enjoy the quiet, the solitude, and I take that back with me into everyday life.